Well, this is Barbara Ann Rosenberg. We're doing Mexico, the Isthmus of Tehuantepec, that skinny little neck of Mexico, south in the state of Oaxaca, but south of the city of Oaxaca. And it's where the women who are known as Tehuanas, who wear gorgeous costumes, gorgeous dresses, long dresses, in spite of the fact that it's very hot down there. And they are a matriarchal society. They handle the money, in other words. And they are described in a booklet that comes from the state of Oaxaca as tall, majestic women. Well, if majesty can be described in girth rather than in height, they are definitely majestic. They are wide, rather what they lack in height they make up for in width. In any event, you're going to see something about the Tehuanas in the Isthmus of Tehuantepec in the state of Oaxaca in Mexico. Barbara Ann Rosenberg, your roving reporter, come along with me. We are sitting here in Tehuantepec in a restaurant that is known as Colonial, and sitting here with me is the owner of the restaurant, Señora Carmen
López Toledo. Mucho gusto, Carmen López Toledo, para servirle.
Gracias, and Señor Moreno, who is the delegate of the Secretary of Tourism. Here, we are in the Isthmus, a 140-kilometer stretch goes across the narrowest part of Mexico, and they're considering it as kind of an alternative for the Panama Canal, if it ever seems to be necessary. They can dig the 140 kilometers across here because it's low-lying. Anyway, I'd think you'd like to say hello to Señor Morenos.
Mucho gusto y bienvenido, Bárbara y su esposo, al Istmo de Tehuantepec, al trópico cálido y bello Istmo de Tehuantepec.
It is tropical here. It is hot here. We just came from the city, the capital city of Oaxaca, and we'll go back there and you'll see some more of that. But here we're in a very tropical, and meaning i.e. hot, part of the state. So we'll go around and see some more things that are fascinating here. And you see these ladies in their costumes? They are called Tehuanas. And they're gorgeously dressed. Perhaps we'll see them in person. I certainly look forward to it. Dancing and fiestas here are a very important part of life. In case you're wondering what all that squawking is in the background, that tree full of buds, is it buds? No, it's birds. It's egrets. Egrets. Did you ever see so many in one place? The tree looks like it's growing them, or that they're growing on the tree. Is that a sight? We are now on a canal that runs from Tehuantepec to meet the river, the Tehuantepec River, farther out. Here they come, more egrets. The whole tree is full of them, and still they come. I guess they'll spend the night here and then go on. What an experience this is. Well, you're hearing the musical accompaniment and seeing these guys playing a marimba, as they frequently do in this part of the world. No mariachis, marimba music. Two of them, they're very good. And we're at a fiesta. Guess what? A whole bunch of Yankees are here. We're in the town of Santa Teresa, and we're at this fiesta that's being run by the man who's the delegate from the state of Oaxaca tourist office, and all these good people come from California and assorted places. That woman right there is originally from Pittsburgh. What's your name?
Gloria Matthews.
Gloria Matthews. In case anybody still knows her out there in Pittsburgh, raise your right hand. Anyway, all these good people travel together in motorhomes. They're a caravan. Good gravy. They must get kind of lively late at night. Anyway, it's nice to be here with them, and it's nice to be able to show you what we're doing here in Santa Teresa on the Isthmus of Mexico. We're out on the outskirts, really, of Tehuantepec. This is Olga. We're going to see a group of the women from Tehuantepec. There's another beauty. Here comes another beauty. Notice how they walk, how they erect the carriages. They don't have them on their head, but even so, you try carrying those heavy pots like that. Yes, and here's another woman in the very typical Tehuantepec costume. She doesn't have the headpiece on, but look at all that handwork done in that embroidered dress. Oh, now we're going to get a procession. And here comes the standard bearer of Santa Teresa village in her beautiful outfit, and she's carrying the flag of the village, of the church. Now you're getting the whole business. Gorgeous with the headdress and the jewelry. This is all very traditional of Tehuantepec. Here's the daughter of the Don, the daughter who's now a Tehuana in training. Beautiful. And here we are in the historic part of Tehuantepec. And right behind me is a Zapotec, which is the kind of Indians who settled this part of the world, and it is still primarily Zapotec. This is a Zapotec Queen's Palace, or it started out that way anyway, and then became a Dominican father's retreat. And then it became a jail, imagine that. Now it's the cultural house, the house of culture for this area, and we'll go inside and see what they have there. It's really very pretty in here. It's very unusual. We'll see some other Zapotec and Tehuana, the women in the typical dress. They all wear long, schleppy dresses and ride in the back of a motorcycle with a truck bed on them. So we'll see more of what's here in Tehuantepec. And this is an original wall painting, a fresco, from the 16th century, which is when this building was put together. Of course, it was Zapotec to start with, and then when the Dominicans took over, of course, this is painting that were done at the time of the Dominicans. They repaired the thing. As I said, it's been through 3 incarnations. And here are some paintings of typical scenes of daily life. This, of course, is the woman with the mojete making tortillas. She's rolling it out on a stone with a rolling pin made out of stone. It's heavy as the dickens. And then cooking it on a comal, it's called, which is a big flat thing to cook tortillas on. I don't know what else to call it. I use one at home just for fun. And then the next woman is making chocolate with a molinillo, a little mill it's called, and it makes the chocolate blend and puffs it up, kind of whips it up. I'll show you a molinillo in the market when we get over there. And here are some of the handmade, hand-embroidered dresses, blouses. This one on velvet and the other one on some kind of silk. But are those gorgeous or what? You won't see the women wearing those to market every day. Those are fiesta dresses. As I told you maybe about the women in this part of the, are known as Tehuanas. And this is her fancy dress for parties, fiestas. And they say these women have an attitude, as we say in Philadelphia. And you can see it in the face and the stance of that woman. Isn't it kind of fun? These gals rule the roost. And these women are selling all kinds of fruit drinks primarily, but they make waters, as they call them, out of almost anything. Then a man walks by with baskets. You can buy almost anything here in this market, typical of the Tehuantepec area. See how pretty the women are? Well, these are local fish. I haven't the faintest idea what name they are, but you just put them on the fire and grill them. And of course, these are the local shrimp. This isthmus runs between the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. And so you get all kinds of funny things here. Yeah, what a beautiful smile, right? The ladies don't want their picture taken, but the shrimp don't mind. And you see how many different kinds there are. Maybe we'll try some later. She's the most interesting one of the lot, this lady with all the cilantro on her head. Can you see her? Too late. Ready? There is one of the ladies dressed for the market and riding in the back of the typical, here's another one. She's going to get on too. Typical mode of transportation. A motorcycle with something on the back. And this beautiful chapel in the home of Doña Juana C. Romero. And this home belonged to her great-grandmother? Yeah.
Well, my great-grandmother was Juana C. Romero.
Okay, it gets very complicated from here. Okay. Nevertheless, you get the feeling that this is quite gorgeous. And look at this chandelier. It's a little been around for a while. We're in the Hotel Cai in Tehuantepec, and this is where the Tehuanas, the women who wear these very elaborate costumes for parties, and always long, full skirts. Well, everybody isn't traditional, but most people are. Most people wear the traditional dress. And if you go over into the next village, the dress is quite different. And this handsome man I'm standing with here in Juchitán, how's that for a name? Juchitán is Fidel.
Fidel Ilgeul Dolores.
Okay, and he owns this beautiful restaurant. And it's 115 years old. años.
115 años de antigüedad. Fue construido en la época del Porfiriato.
Oh, it was made when Porfirio Díaz was president.
Porfirio Díaz.
See. And we're having breakfast in this beautiful courtyard. And I want you to see, this is not our normal breakfast. Otherwise, I would be muy, ¿cómo se llama? Ancho? Very wide, see. Más que now. More than now. Okay, let's look at this. And we are eating now. This, oh.
¿Qué es lo que estamos comiendo?
Esto es un platillo típico de la región del Istmo, y en lo particular de Juchitán, es la iguana silvestre. Esto podemos ver aquí, son huevitos de la iguana, y es uno de los platillos de más tradición que acostumbran desayunar nuestros paisanos zapotecas.
This is food of the Zapotecs, and what we're eating here is iguana. Dig it, iguana, folks. And they're eggs, the little eggs of the iguana. Now we're going to go on and have some other things, but I won't know, not in Español. No entiende en Philadelphia.
No, okay.
Okay? So, yo, okay?
Mm-hmm.
These are tamales, a special kind in water.
Estos son tamales de elote.
Corn tamales.
Tamales de elote que se considera uno de los platillos prehispánicos.
Oh, these were pre-Hispanic dishes that we're eating, and very typical of the region. And this is conejo.
Conejo silvestre.
Conejo is rabbit. Of course, we have that every other morning for breakfast. And
Esto es
plátanos.
Molotes de plátano rellenos de crema y queso.
Stuffed with cream and cheese. Now you see why the women are a little full-bodied, shall we say. And
es queso en salsa, que también es un platillo típico de la región. Queso en salsa
cheese
de tomate.
In a tomato sauce, a little less exotic, shall we say, and other cheeses. And these are, of course, you know, these are...
son tamales de elote también, parecidos a estos, nada más que hechos en hornos de barro.
In the oven.
Y con leña.
Okay, a queso, and this is cheese?
No? Es huevos a la oaxaqueña. Ese es el
eggs made the way they make them in Oaxaca, but it's the first time for me. Oh, well, what a feast. What do you say we eat it, guys?
Esta es una pequeña muestra de la gastronomía tan amplia que se tiene en la región.
It's all the food of this region. What a great experience. And in this Juchitán, in this area, can you believe we bumped into some people from New York? Here is Deborah and Jonathan from New York City.
What a wonderful feast you have this morning.
Yeah, this looks like one of those photographs out of the book.
Well, of course we will do that. Yes, indeed. And imagine meeting these people from New York City, from the big city, and they're going to be shown in Philadelphia. How nice to see you. And we'll see you again when we return, I'm sure.
We'll be honored to
You'll be in safe
with
hands.
you.
Yes, if you follow Barbara around the world, you'll be in safe hands.
What fun. Okay, guys. See you later. Now we're in the cultural center of this lovely town where we've been spending time and eating a pre-Hispanic breakfast. And now we're here to feed our souls in the Casa de Cultura, the cultural center, where they have a contemporary art show. And this man's name is Alfredo Cardona. Really fine contemporary work. And there are other pieces here too, but I'm afraid the light isn't good enough, so you'll just have to be happy with this one. Or maybe we can see one more. Let's look at one more. You see, his work is very accomplished. It's quite different from the primitive things we saw the other day. This is a really fine, trained artist. And evidently there's quite a tradition of fine art here in this area. And inside the cultural center here in Juchitán is St. Vincent's Church that was built about the same time as Porfirio Diaz, the first president of Mexico. And then they added to it in the past 50 years or so, those beautiful belfries. But you see how typical and how beautiful, and they take their culture very, very seriously here in Juchitán on the isthmus. And this, my friends, in Philadelphia, is the regional dress of the Istmo. And this is where it's made. This is where they do this magnificent hand embroidery and design it. Design the traditional designs of the Istmo. Yes? And these are the people who are responsible for it. This is their so-called factory. And can you imagine this kind of embroidery is being done here by hand? How long it takes to make one of these traditional costumes. I want you to see the thread, the thickness of the thread that they do the embroidery with, how fine it is. Look at this. This is what they do the embroidery with, and little tiny scissors. It's as fine handwork as you'd ever want to see, and it's done here in Juchitán. Okay, now, in case you think that everything is not up to date in this wonderful town, here is a Barbie who's getting her own hand-embroidered dress. What do you think of that? I mean, this is, everything's up to date in Juchitano. And this is Señor Sergio Vasquez, who is the jewelry king of this town. See, king? Rey. And he makes these gorgeous bracelets and all kinds of jewelry in 18 and 24 karat gold. And a bracelet like this, which takes 1 week to make, 1 week, is $167. I'll have to look and see if I have any dólares left by the time we go to leave. It's a very labor-intensive work, but all 18 es 18 o 24?
No, es de 10 quilates.
10 karat gold, so that's okay. Less expensive to make and harder to work with because there's more. Oh, look at this, guys. Wait a minute. I'm going to walk over here and you'll see what kind.
Sí.
And this is the traditional jewelry of the women in. See? Okay, I'll put some on. See, guys, now I'm a real woman from the Istmo, more or less.
Y este es el todo.
This one, I think this is more my style. Para mí. Gracias, señor. Gracias, muchas gracias. See, I thanked him for giving this to me as a present. I don't think so. See, and this is the traditional jewelry of the women in. Hey, okay, I'll put some on. See, guys, now I'm a real woman from the Istmo, more or less. And we drove over, I don't know, ¿cuántos kilómetros, señor? See, we came 20 kilometers to see this kind of sculpture in red clay. And it is very, very elaborate sculpture. And there's a man over there, we'll go see him in a minute, painting things. But this sculpture is really quite dramatic. And speaking of sculpture, here's an iguana. This is the kind of thing that we ate the eggs this morning. Huevos de iguana. It was good too. And here are some dolls from this part of the country. The women are beautiful and the dolls are beautiful in typical dress. Here you see them artisanía work, that artisan work where they've done the little embroidery, only they've done it on the clay and then fired it. Aren't they beautiful? And here's a way of telling that people, they used to say sometimes men, sometimes women. Well, here it is in this jar, in this water jar. Here's the man's face with a beard, and I think you can tell this side is a woman. Days already painting this jar. And por agua o solo por ver? Jara. Is this jar for water or only to look at it? Only to look at it. Okay, well. All right, now we're here where they fire these great big jars, where they put them in the ovens to bake them. But you know what these are? These are fireplaces, some of them. And they burn fires in them to keep the house warm, as if they need to here. And I'm not about to carry one back. Fortunately, I have a little tiny fireplace in my casa, in my house. So I won't be carrying one of these on my back to go on the airplane. And this little thing that looks like a foot bath is actually a pan to bake a suckling pig. And we've had it. They put them in a regular big oven overnight, and they come out brown and crisp and gorgeous. So these clays have very special properties. Not taking one of those home either. He's going to put, are you on? He's going to put 3 of these lilies on this jar, just for beauty. He's making them right now out of the clay, and then afterward it'll be fired in a great big oven, and we'll show you what the oven looks like. And this is the wheel that he turns that jar on. Can you believe he starts with raw clay and ends up with that? And flowers. This is a very traditional firing process, the oven. They put the raw clay pots in at the top, and the fire comes from the bottom. And when it's finished firing, that black clay that you saw being made ends up to be colors like this for flower pots and for, well, foot baths, no, for cooking little pigs in. And I mean little suckling pigs. Now, did you enjoy those Tehuanas? You see what I mean? They hop on and off the back of those truck beds on motorcycles. You saw lots and lots of white birds coming in to roost in their favorite tree. You saw what the isthmus looks like to a large extent. It's very tropical. And you saw some of the food they eat, like iguana eggs. They were delicious, as a matter of fact. If anybody told me I was going to eat an egg of one of those creatures after looking at the funny little heads of the lizards popping out of the pot, well, I would have said no way. But they were delicious. As much of the food in Mexico, and particularly in the isthmus, is. I hope you enjoyed your trip again to Mexico, to Oaxaca, and for the very first time, for me anyway, and probably for you, in the isthmus, or as it is called in Mexico, the Istmo of Tehuantepec. Barbara Ann Rosenberg, your roving reporter, signing off.